All right. Well, I'm here with Steve and Melinda Hoyt in Kenya. And instead of an email update this time, we're going to do a video update. And we wanted to check in with them and see how they're doing, what's happening on the campus of the school that they're at, and how their family's been doing through this global pandemic. So, hi, Steve and Melinda.
Hey, James.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
How are you?
So, what's it like being on campus there at Rift Valley during the coronavirus pandemic?
It's very quiet. They're about 3/4 of the staff have gone or are on their way out. I think we're going to be left with maybe 20 families.
Wow. Out of how many?
Yeah,
Over 100.
over 100 typically. It's busy because we've had to put all of our classes online. And we're also having to help our children learn how to homeschool and understand the technology of homeschooling. So I've learned a lot of technology recently as a teacher because I had to put all of my classes online, which was interesting.
So you're teaching some classes for students that have gone home, and then you're also obviously educating your own girls who are home with you.
Yes.
Correct.
What classes are you teaching online?
I do home ec, believe it or not. I'm teaching a sewing course online, which is a mandatory course here for graduation. And I usually do student support, but I'm having trouble doing that online. So we've got a lot of students that really struggle with learning disabilities that I typically work with. I check on them by email, but there's not a whole lot I can do, interventions I can do with them online. So it's really falling a lot on the parents, which is difficult because the parents are missionaries, a lot of them stuck still in the field, and short-staffed. So we're doing extra jobs. So for instance, the girls and I worked on a project sewing gowns and hospital masks for the hospital, which is just down the street from us. So you've got a lot of that going on, plus your regular work, plus trying to homeschool your kids. It's busy. It's quiet, but it's busy.
Yeah, so you mentioned sewing masks and gowns. So here in the States, it ranges depending on where your supporters are listening to this from, whether you have to wear a mask when you go out or whether you have to maintain social distancing. And there's lots of different rules and regulations, but it's very location dependent. What's it like there?
Well, here we on campus, we have to wear a mask if we're within social distance of anybody, which is 2 meters, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, if you're walking by yourself or with your family apart from other people, you don't have to wear your mask. So if you see someone you're walking down the road and you're passing someone, you just flip your mask on as you go by, talk to them, say hello, and they, either stop and talk or keep on going. When you're inside with anybody, which is rare, by the way, you always have to have your mask on.
You're not supposed to be inside with anyone unless you have a specific job like Steve, which is projects, maintenance, water, those kinds of things where you have to be inside with someone else. You're supposed to be only inside with your family.
And then I'm always wearing my mask at that point.
For Kenya in general, though, it's very strict. A lot of African countries, the borders are closed. There's no international travel. Within Kenya, there are several counties that are closed off, so we cannot even travel into Nairobi or places like that without special permit for a doctor's appointment or some kind of essential services that we might have to have. We have all of our food is shipped in, and groceries like fresh vegetables are trucked in once a week to the compound itself, so that people aren't going in and out for things like that.
But
there is a curfew.
Kenya's strict, but I've been into Nairobi 3 times for dental reasons for one of the kids, and it's honestly, and they may say it's strict, but for the most part, people aren't obeying the law, the rules about wearing a mask or anything. Common one is to wear it on your chin. So.
Have you guys done anything special together as a family with, obviously it's different, right? There's a lot of families that are home. You guys have been doing a lot of sewing, as we saw in one of your previous updates. you guys had some special times together with family, or anything unique and different that you've been doing?
Well, not really. We play, watch movies, play games. We have racquetball here and stuff like that. Tennis.
We did, because we're not allowed to meet in it's illegal to meet in groups of 15 or more. So there's been no church services or anything like that.
Yeah,
so what we did we started a Sunday service online with a couple of friends of ours that were quarantined back in Uganda, and one friend of ours who was an intern from EMI from years ago that's working in Rwanda, and she was quarantined there by herself. So every Sunday we would get together over Zoom and for Skype. I can't remember which one we used, but one of the platforms to have a church service.
Yeah.
That was different and fun and new.
And James is thinking, I know exactly who that intern was.
So Steve, a lot of people are gone from campus. Are you able to do some special projects while things are empty, or what's work been like for you?
Yeah, well, work is picking back up now, so we're back onto some of the projects we were doing before everybody got sent home. But what I did for how many, 2.5, 3 months? 2 or 3 months, I've been working mainly on a manual for the maintenance department. And honestly, for the last 115 years, since the school opened 115 years ago, they've been kind of doing maintenance by the seat of the pants. There's no manual on how to do this. And it's just so right now I'm about lacking in systems. I'm about 85 pages into the manual, even with definitions, so everybody's on the same page. Design, regulations, all sorts of things. So,
is Melinda going to proofread that for you?
She has.
I have read a lot of it.
I'm mainly using the IBC, so but like for stay, rise, and run, things like that. But there's no consistency. So the next guy in 2 years that takes my place, he'll do whatever he wants if there's not a how-to or a manual on how we do things and why we do things.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's mainly
I think one thing we're seeing across the world is that the shutdowns have helped us catch up on some of those to-do lists, and it sounds like that one's been on the list for a long time.
It has, about 2 years, yeah. So I probably would have taken 2 years to do it. I get it done in 2 months. So
very cool.
Yeah, because of the slowdown.
So from those of us that support you, particularly in the States, how can we be praying for your family right now?
Well, yeah, honestly, it's not just the pandemic, but it's been pretty lonely, for 15 years. I think the pandemic has kind of opened up our realization that since we've moved here, a lot of people haven't really kept in touch with us, or don't go out of their way to see how we're doing, or, we send out updates periodically and we don't get a whole lot of responses to those. There's a few churches that have their prayer letter. They'll send out and ask us what's up, but nothing too intimate over the years, except for a handful of people, a small handful of people. I'm not saying no one, but it's been pretty lonely. And probably with all this that's going on right now, having very few people check up on us to see how we're doing personally has been quite difficult, actually, because it's been difficult on all of us. My kids, all their friends are gone. They're trying to stay in touch with social media, with WhatsApp and stuff like that. But it's pretty lonely for all of us, to be quite frank with you. So I guess people checking in on us once in a while, would really be nice.
What's the best way to do that? Can we WhatsApp you? Can we email you? Can we mail you a postcard?
All of the above. Yeah. Okay. All of the above. Yeah. Anything, whatever people think is best. It'd be nice to hear from even our girls. It'd be nice for them to hear from somebody on a personal level. All four of them would just love to hear something. Over the years, we haven't had a whole lot of that. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. And the girls are growing into their own. They're adults. You mentioned, do I edit Steve's work? Well, Sophia edits Steve's work now too. She's taken 2 AP English classes now. She's fully capable, and they've gone through a great transition. You can pray a lot about that. They're missing a lot of their friends. They've said goodbye. We had to close the school early, like you know, and what's different about that is that these kids come from all over the world. And with that happening, especially a lot of the seniors, we were really active with a lot of the seniors, and we didn't get to say goodbye to them. And they're gone, and probably gone out of our lives, some of them forever. And so that was really difficult. That transition has been really difficult on the kids, especially on Sophia, who's senior age, and Janet, who said goodbye to a lot of great friends, but didn't know they were saying goodbye for the last time.
Yeah, sure.
So that's been kind of tough.
Yeah.
And we won't open. We're online first term, so we won't even open up first term. So that's going to be a little bit tough. It's like 6 months where they won't see any friends.
And first term begins in August, late August.
Yeah, our schools and our borders won't open until probably September, October.
At best.
At best.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include all the other borders of all the other kids, because remember, they're coming from many, many African countries, as well as Korea and Europe and America.
And Canada.
And
Yeah,
Canada.
sure. Some of them are home, and some of them are sheltering somewhere else. So of course, yeah, it would be difficult to get everyone back at one time.
And our kids' sleep patterns, sometimes they seem like vampires because they're on so many different time zones trying to stay in touch with their friends. So just, trying to manage their own personal health and recognizing that those communications are important as well.
And also, all 4 girls are struggling, but I would say Hannah is struggling by far the most.
Mm-hmm.
She's struggling the most, and I think she's not as equipped as the other 3 to adjust and handle it. So it's been really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Difficult for us, but difficult for her especially.
Yeah.
So if we could pray for Hannah, that would be great. And maybe even
Absolutely.
send some notes to Hannah. Hannah's 11 years old, and she's a good girl.
Well, we'll make
She'll
sure
be
that
12.
when we
In fact, she'll be
publish
12
this,
in just 3 weeks.
on what day?
The 13th, July.
Mm-hmm.
July 13th. So let's get some birthday cards in the mail.
Or even
All
email.
right, so we'll make sure we publish email addresses and WhatsApp numbers and mailing address as part of this update, so folks know how to do that.
That'd be
Sounds
awesome.
good.
And our daughters have their own emails and WhatsApp.
Tech savvy.
Yeah, you have to be when you live in multiple countries.
When I
Hannah does
first
not-
met Steve, which was 14 years ago, back when you guys lived in Uganda, Steve had that cool yellow banana cell
I
phone that
know.
MTN used to make.
MTN phone, yes. It had the buttons you push.
Yeah,
That thing
yeah,
was
that
awesome.
thing
I
was
had that
unbreakable.
forever.
Yeah.
I dropped that in the septic tank once, fished it out, and it washed it off, and it still worked. Yeah.
Sometimes
I
I
was really-
think that we should just drop our iPhones and go back to MTN phones.
No kidding. Yeah. Like a brick.
Well, thank you guys for the time, and we will keep you in our prayers. And thanks for answering these questions. It's fun to be able to connect with you, here in Pennsylvania, all the way to Kenya, and hopefully we'll be able to see you soon, face to face, and not through a screen.
Oh, we
Amen.
love it.
Thanks, James.